Hey everyone, welcome to the Passion to Paycheck podcast. This is our new episode. This is the first episode of our rebranding since we changed the name from Chop It Up to Passion to Paycheck. So in this episode, we're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit of our background, but also talk about how we turned our own passion into a paycheck. So for me, I went from a CPA to a fitness trainer. So a little bit of background is I've been actually lifting since the age of 13. So that's about 19 years that I've been in the gym so far. And I've always been passionate since I was a young kid about lifting weights and just moving around, moving heavy weight, and just moving in general. I grew up playing sports a lot, baseball, basketball, football, soccer. And as I grew up, I kind of fell in love even more and more each year into the fitness. And when I was 18, I had this thought of it would be one of my dream jobs to actually be a fitness trainer and be able to help people. And this opportunity actually came up around 2022, a little bit after when COVID began. I was working as a CPA at an accounting firm, and around that time, I was kind of starting to get less passionate about my CPA job, just because of everything that was going on in the company and just things that I was seeing and whatnot. And then from there, when COVID happened, they actually let me go. And then once they let me go, I was able to kind of think about what exactly I wanted to do, because the CPA world wasn't something I wanted to go back into or work for someone else, because what I learned, at least for me personally, the lesson I learned during COVID was I can't rely on another man to pay my bills. So I kind of took it into my own hands and kind of just kept pondering of what I was going to do. And during this time, about 2019 is when I started mobility training using the ATG program. When I saw Knees Over Toes guy on YouTube, actually, I was just scrolling. And during that time, I was trying to figure out how to get rid of a lot of the joint pain I was having from pretty much from my neck down, from a lot of the bodybuilding stuff bodybuilding workouts I used to do, a lot of the powerlifting, because that's kind of where I started. I learned from powerlifters at the age of 13. So through all that, and then also playing football, I kind of thrashed my whole body. Shoulders were jacked up. Pretty much my whole body was jacked up. Couldn't do much of the things that I can do now back then. And so as the whole thing with COVID happened, I actually was able to cure all my joint pain in about 6 months for me. But for me, this was something I did religiously from Monday to Sunday. Every single day for 6 months, and did no other type of training besides the ATG program. And at first I was pretty skeptical because it went against a lot of things that I was taught, like don't go knees over toes, don't round your back when you pick things up, stuff like that. So I kind of just gave it a chance, because I even tried yoga. I got yoga certified to try to help all my pains, even try to get even stronger in the gym. And both of those things kind of made things worse. And then I realized why yoga made it worse, because I was stretching my tendons and ligaments that were not ready. We're not ready, but weren't strong enough to be stretched and come back. Because what I found out through mobility training is when we become stronger, the pain eventually ends up going away. But first you have to be stronger in the right movements. So it's not just getting strong in the gym overall, but it's getting strong in certain modalities that will help improve your joint mobility. Because what people don't realize is how important actually tendon and ligaments are to maintaining a pain-free body. And that's something I learned way later into my fitness career. So back again to the COVID. So going back to the COVID happened, I was figuring it out, and during that time is when I cured all my pain. And when I cured all my pain, I kind of looked around, kind of see if there's any other ATG coaches around. Didn't really see much. So I kind of was like, okay, well, maybe I can try this fitness thing now that, I wasn't doing the CPA. I was kind of took it as I'm gonna just take this leap and see what happens at the end of the day, because I didn't want to regret something when I was older if I didn't try. So when the opportunity uh, came, I kind of went ahead and took it. And the way the opportunity came was actually through a local gym I found here in town, where the owner was actually looking for personal trainers. And I actually didn't even go there to become a personal trainer. I was just going there to go ahead and, just work out and whatnot. And I knew him from high school. So when I went there, he would always ask me, or he would always tell me, oh man, all these personal trainers, there's not that many good ones. The turnover here is so fast. I can't keep trainers here or there. So I offered multiple times, oh, I'll go ahead and become a trainer. And that's where I kind of took the opportunity. And I probably told him about 5-7 times before he was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and give you a shot. And after he gave me the shot, he was the first person I trained. I trained them in the ATG program. And then he helped me with the first sell as far as like selling them on training with me. And the first person I trained, he was able to sell. And then that's kind of how I started in the fitness world, and kind of went from my CPA, kind of figuring out what I was going to do, to being a personal trainer and really turning my passion into profit. But essentially I did about 7-8 months of personal training where my clients were up and down, having one client all the way to 7 max for about 8 months, and then going back to like 3, 5, 4, 3. And it wasn't until about the 9th month is when everything kind of just like became a reality. Like, oh, I can actually make this a living and make money off of this passion of mine. And that's a little bit of the background of how I actually became a personal trainer. So in retrospect, COVID for me was a little bit of a blessing in disguise as far as figuring out what career path I was actually going to go to. So that's a little bit about me as far as my turning my passion to Paycheck, which I've been blessed and just thankful for all the people I was actually able to meet through this whole entire fitness world. That's actually how I met Ace. He went to the same gym about, I forget when he went, but was it 2022?
I think it was around 2022, the beginning.
Yeah, I kind of saw him.
The beginning of 2022.
And that's where we kind of saw him. We kind of just passed by, didn't really talk to each other. He would kind of see me train my clients, and he would just look, didn't think too much of it. And then one day he actually asked me about, oh, what are you doing with these people? So I kind of explained to him about mobility training and what exactly I was accomplishing and how I was structuring for my clients and stuff like that. And he actually became interested, and I actually started training him a little bit, teaching him a little bit about mobility and kind of the importance of it all. And we actually, when we were at the gym, we would actually talk for like an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours.
Yeah, like straight go for it.
It's like, oh shit, well, I gotta go home. I gotta wake up at 5 in the morning tomorrow, 4 in the morning, get back to the gym.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how we met, and we've always talked about having a podcast. And oh yeah, we talk like this all the time. We might as well just put a camera in front of us and start talking.
Yeah.
So
put some knowledge.
So that's a little
spread
bit,
the knowledge to the people.
Exactly. So that's a little bit of how this whole podcast started, actually.
Yeah. So now I'll tell you guys a little bit about myself. So I've been an entrepreneur all my life. Started my first business when I was about 18. As soon as I turned 18, I had a pretty successful business, making good money. I was going to college. The only reason I was going to college for business, even though I was already doing business, was because of my mom. Family, they always like, oh, you got to get a degree to do something good in life and be successful, which I never thought I needed it, but I only did it for her. But anyways, I continued to run my business, make good money. Back in 2008, I ended up losing the business because of the 2008 crash. So for like about a year, I was trying to keep on and hang on to the business. And that's when I had to reinvent myself. And that's when my passion came and started turning into a paycheck. So what I did, I was like, you know what? I like fixing up cars, so let me get into fixing up cars and make a living off of it. And yeah, it was when I started, it was pretty hard, especially because the crash, everybody was hurting. Nobody really had extra money to spend, and whoever had money, they were pretty much trying to keep it. They weren't trying to spend it. So how to reinvent myself and start from the bottom and struggle. So I did 16-hour shifts Monday to Monday for the first 2.5, 3 years. And that's when I was like, man, what if am I doing something wrong? Because I wasn't really making no money. I was like, whatever money I did make, I'd go back into the business. And then I would get discouraged a little bit. But then I would think, you know what? I have a little bit more equipment. I have a little bit more material. We're working on more cars, so I might not be putting too much money in my pocket, but I'm building, So that would keep me back and keep me in the business where like gotta keep pushing, keep pushing. So I ended up going and pushing. About the fourth year, that's when I actually started seeing returns and actually making money. And now we're fast forward. I've been in business for a little bit over 12 years in this industry. And actually, this is a good time where I could kind of let you guys know what I'm about to do next. So now all my workers, I'm going to turn them into teachers. So now there's the time where I'm going to give back to the society. In a sense, we're going to be teaching troubled kids. They're between 18 and 25. Teaching kids and give them an industry where they can work on, whether it's welding, body work, painting, and it just give them something to look forward and maybe, find them a job after we do that. So that's what we're doing now, and that's how we're going to give back. So, I mean, that's pretty broad. I don't want to get too much into it. Maybe another episode we could do that.
Yeah,
but
we can go dive deep into more details of that.
Yeah.
Just kind of, but isn't it pretty crazy how you turned your passion into paycheck?
Yeah, it is, because when you start, you kind of start for necessity or because certain things happen. Kind of like with you, like you said, you started in when COVID, so you had to push you. Same for me, like it was in 2008 crash where it had to kind of push me to where like, man, I got to reinvent myself because I was making good money, decent money, especially for the age. Man, I was making so much money then that I didn't know where to spend it. Yeah. But then when it crashed, that's just boom. It's like literally almost one day to another, like everything's just dead stop. And that was pretty much for everybody, back in '08. Yeah. Some people were still making money, but not close to how they were, especially like the oil field workers, man. Everybody got laid off and everybody lost their toys, their house, and everything. So I think back then in '08, a lot of people had to reinvent themselves, and the people that are younger, they probably didn't face it, but their parents did. Back then there was a lot of suicides and all that, which that's something that the news didn't put out. But there was a lot of people committed suicide. They were killing their whole family because they lost their whole life savings, man. And they're like, they don't know what to do. They're like, man, I lost everything. Now they probably thought they couldn't come back from it. But I think like when I lost everything, I reinvented myself. And I think if you ever made it somewhere in life where you built something from scratch, you could take all this away from me. I'll rebuild it and I'll do it faster because now I got more knowledge, more connections, more experience. Where like, hey, Rudy, like how we started talking about the podcast, and then we're just doing it for fun, it was just last year, and then you're like, we got to start it. And the first thing we did, the first of the year, we're like, hey, let's do the podcast. And I'm like, I'm all for it. So then we started and look at where we are now. We got new equipment now. So we're getting it a little bit more organized. And we're getting ready to introduce people's life stories as far as like their entrepreneurship life story. And then we're going to get a little bit into like drug addiction and alcohol addictions and addictions in general, because that's real, man. We all go through stuff like that. I went through stuff like that.
I went through that as
You went through stuff like that. We talked a lot about that, and that's where actually this passion came, what we're doing now, to where, hey, we want to have people come on and to the podcast and tell their story. You know what I mean? And inspire other people, you know, because a lot of times, like even with business, when people struggle in business, like we think, or like at least for me, I think like I'm the only one going through it. But as I talk to other entrepreneurs, like, nah, bro, like I lost it once, I lost it twice, like kind of like Tim, you know, like he was telling us last night at the barbecue, like, nah, man, like it happes to all of us, you know, it's normal. That's and it's probably gonna happen again, you know. And like kind of when people, I was telling a little bit about when I had a manager here, and he started stealing money and put me in a hole, and it's like, man, it's happened to me. Like, so everything that we go through in life, some people have gone through it, you know, or going through it. So if some people can relate to it, you know, it gives them a little bit more hope to where like they don't look for the easy way out. At least that's what I think, you know. Because it's real easy to go the easy way out.
Oh yeah,
but
very easy.
I think when hard times come, that really defines who you really are in this world. You know, like kind of like when you squeeze an orange. Like you squeeze an orange, like whatever's inside of it is gonna come out. Yeah. So like when I'm under pressure and they squeeze me, you know, I'm gonna be 10 toes down. You know, like we're gonna get this. We're gonna make it happen, no matter what. You know,
one way or another. Figure it out.
Because it's just a roller coaster. It's just a life, and it's a journey. It never ends. So no matter how, like a lot of people, I get a lot of compliments. A lot of people, man, you motivate me. Whether it's the gym, the business, and like you know, like, and they ask me for advice, and I tell them just go for something you enjoy doing, something you have a passion for, because no matter what you choose, it's gonna get hard. But if you choose something that you have a passion for, you're gonna push through it a lot, push a little bit harder than if you're just doing it for money. Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, they wanna, like, they got a little bit of money, or they're like, what do you think I should do to make money? I said, man, forget about the money, bro. There's money everywhere. No matter what you do, there's money. So just focus on something you enjoy doing, something you're passionate about, so that way you can push through the hard times, because hard times are gonna come. No matter what. No matter what. Ask any business owner that had a business and actually built something from scratch, man. That it's tough. You know, you gotta build that tough skin where, like, no matter what happens, it's like we're gonna push through this. You know what I mean?
Not getting caught up in
getting caught up, and I'm the type. And I'm the type where, like, shit's going on, I'm putting my head down and tunnel vision. You know, like I ain't got time to tell nobody like my problems. I turn off fires every day, and like people will never notice. My guys, you know, they don't ever notice. Like, but I'm turning off fires left and right, and that's the life of entrepreneur, which that's what you are. You know, you have your own problems. Everybody has their own problems, and whatever business you're in, no matter what kind of business you're in, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah, there's always something.
If it's not one thing, it's the other. So I think that's very important to people to hear everybody's life story. They can relate to it, give them a little bit of hope. Not only that, they can reach out if they're going through something like that. Reach out and maybe ask for advice. You know, because a lot of people reach out, ask for advice. I keep that anonymous, though. You know, because they might not want to. I mean, I don't ask them, but I'm not gonna blast them out there. You know, but I give them advice, and some people it helps more than others, and some people say thank you, some people don't, you know, and some people pass by, they never ask anything again, and some people stay around and they give me props, and it feels good to give back. So that's why now I'm turning the passion of what helped me build an empire here in the auto collision business to now we're gonna turn it into basically a school. You know,
trying to help the youngins and
trying to help the youngs, the trouble youngs. That's how I grew up. You know, trouble in the streets and getting into trouble, getting into drugs, alcohol, and every addiction you can think of. And
because then kids see that and they think that's it. They feel like, damn, I'm a piece of shit because I'm doing this, and this. Nothing ever goes my way. I can't get rid of these drugs. But I think, from coming from pretty much addicts to successful people, that no matter how addicted you are to something, you're still able to be successful. But the thing is, you have to put yourself around the right people and get away from those who are doing the drugs, those who are fucking doing all the bad things that you necessarily shouldn't be around. Because if you're around that type of people, that environment, you're going to become the next person. As I always say, if you're in a room of 5 addicts, you're going to be the sixth addict.
One, exactly.
And if you're in the room with 5 millionaires, you're going to be the next one.
That's right.
Your environment very much
dictates
exactly how you'll be, or even how you pick up habits.
Right.
So you always want to make sure you watch out who you're taking advice from. Are they in a place that you want to be, or have they gone through
That's
something?
what I always say. Don't take advice from somebody that they're not living the life you want.
Exactly.
You know, so I think that's very important. I think another thing that's important is kind of like you say, like watch out who you hang out with, because like say you're not a drinker, you start hanging out with people that drink, you know, it's gonna take you to a whole nother level, you know, where drugs and all that, because we've been there. So now I think we become what we needed when we were young. So like me, if I was to ever meet, when I was young, if I would have met somebody that was going through what I was going through then, I'll be like, man, if he made it and he was a drug addict,
Yep.
and now he's successful and now he's doing something good with his life, and now he's giving back, and now he got this, now he got that, man, I can make it happen. So I'm gonna ask him questions like, bro,
Yeah.
like how'd you do it? Like so then that's when you go ahead and put that knowledge out there, and that advice, you know, and help the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because even if for like random people, just always, if you can always reach out to me or Ace and just ask us.
Right.
We're always there to help. You know, we don't give for anything in return. We just give just to give, and because we believe just giving. At least for me, karma. I believe in karma. So if you give good, you always get good back.
What you give the world will give back to you.
Yeah.
I've always lived by that, you know. So I've helped a lot of people that they've done me dirty. I helped a lot of people that they won't even say thanks, or they won't even admit
yeah.
I did help them, which it doesn't matter to me because I did it for myself, not
Yeah.
for them, you know. So
Exactly.
so that's why I'm blessed in a lot more areas in my life. So
Yeah.
when I'm going through stuff and doing stuff, and then it's like a miracle, like things happen, and like, man, like I can't believe that. And the way I see it is like, man, I've done so much, like, and I don't expect anything in return, but I get blessed in many other ways, you know,
Yeah.
throughout life. And that's how I see life, where what you give the world will give back to you. So when I give advice or help people which in whatever form, you know, and I don't get in return, no hard feelings, you know.
Yeah.
I'm good, I'm happy, my life keeps going, their life keeps going, hope the best for them, and I'm just happy to be there and help them with, even if it was an advice, and they continue their life, like it's all good, you know.
Exactly.
The sun comes out for everybody, and we're all brothers and sisters, and let's keep it positive, keep it blessed, and let's keep growing, you know. That's what we want to do now, you know, create this family and this podcast, and bring a lot more people, which we already have a big list that we've had it for a while, but we're waiting for the right moment, and I think this is the right moment. That's why we're introducing ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you guys probably hear a little bit more about us, but now we want to introduce entrepreneurs and like we mentioned earlier, people that have gone through the struggle, and then people just telling their life story, you know.
Just provide more knowledge for those that, you know, may not have the network yet, but at least you can listen to this and pick up little gems here and there from different entrepreneurs that have had different struggles, may have had a struggle similar to yours or whatnot, and kind of just opens your eyes to the possibilities when you actually just believe in yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing, is most people tend to not believe in themselves,
Right.
or because they have self-doubt.
You're discouraged for
Yeah.
whatever happens in their life.
And then one thing I always say is, don't let the past dictate who you are, because we can always change and move forward, right? Because I was an addict at one point, but then I was able to change my life. And I always say, once an addict, always an addict. When you have bad addictions, you got to turn those bad addictions into
100%.
good addictions. So I went from getting drugs, getting all that dopamine release from drugs, into fitness.
Fitness and work.
So fitness and work kind of saved me. Fitness, more than anything, kind of saved me, and kind of just kept me in the gym, kind of motivated. Just anytime I was having a bad day or anything, I just go to the gym. And then that was kind of more of my, I call it.
People be like, why
therapy.
you work out so much? You're like, they think we crazy. Like we have that no days off, you know.
yeah.
And they're like, people are like, man, how can you fucking just go like that? I was like, man, because you turn that addiction into a positive addiction, you know, like you just said, and that's what you really need to do, because change is hard for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So if you change, or you want to cut something off in your life, and you don't replace it with something else, you're gonna be bored, and you're gonna get into another addiction. That's a negative one. But if you could just change and turn that into a positive one right off the bat, and put all that time and energy, you know, that's when be like, you're gonna work so hard, people are gonna be like, man, you crazy. Like, man, the way I work, be like, man, why do you work so much? Like, man, 'cause I love this shit.
Exactly.
Like I live for this shit, you know,
Yeah.
like what else am I gonna do? Like party, drink, everybody invites me,
Done
and
that.
I'm like, they're like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm getting some rest. Like, people used to blow my phone up, you know, up to probably like 5 years ago. We're like, man, let's go out. What are you doing this weekend? Like, they invite me everywhere, you know, and I'm like, nah, bro, like, I'm just gonna chill. Or I'll tell them like, yeah, I'll let you know. And like, they blow my phone up at night and I turn it off. You know, I'm going to sleep. You know, I'll
Yeah.
get some rest. I can't wait for the weekend to come so I could get some rest. So that way I can't wait for Monday to come so I can fucking get back to it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The gym, work, and all that. I'm excited, you know. And I think when you have that passion and you turn it into a paycheck, you're excited for Monday. Like 90% of people, they dread Monday.
Yeah,
And like,
I
bro,
know.
I love Monday. I can't wait for Monday because
Same.
that dictates the whole week. Like, I can't wait to make more money and hit the
Exactly.
gym, get more gains, you know, and then keep on building, keep on growing, keep networking with people like you know. And like kind of how you say, we used to sit there and talk about stuff like this. So
Yeah.
we're like, man, let's put it in a podcast.
Exactly. Might as well. Just
might as
throw
well.
the knowledge out there. And
Yeah.
those, if we can at least help one person, that makes all the difference.
Yes.
Because then that
100%.
person can help someone else. And it's just more or less just telling our stories and just letting people know you're not alone. If you're addicted to anything, whatever it is, there is still hope. You can always change. It's not going to be easy. It never is easy.
Never is.
But it is possible to change and become a better person and change your habits from bad addictions to good addictions. You're not going to do it overnight because
It takes work, time,
you gotta,
energy.
You got to do all the
you
mental
really,
work.
you really, most important, you really gotta want it.
Yeah.
Because you can't kind of want it, and that's everything in general. You know, any change or make money or work or whatever, you just can't kind of want it because you're not gonna put your 110%. You kind of want it. You might do 50%, 60%, 80%. That's not gonna get you far in the long run.
Yeah.
It might get you far in the beginning, and as soon as you get a little comfortable, you're gonna fall off, no matter what it is. So you gotta put your 110% and get to it. You know, you gotta really want it. I
Yeah.
think that's very important.
Yeah, the wanting part for sure. Because if you don't want it, you'll take a day off here,
Yeah.
off
Excuses.
improving yourself. Oh no, today I
Too
don't feel
hot.
like it, this, that.
Today I woke up late. Today I'm tired. Today it's hot again.
So even like the no days off mantra, that can be towards anything. No
Right.
days off on eating well. No days off on taking walks.
100%.
Whatever it is, anything that's going to improve your life, you should do every day and never take a day off.
And that's
Whether it's
I think that's what people don't understand.
mental work, whatever it is, reading, whatever it is that's going to help improve you and give you more skills or help you network better, talk better, learning different skills or whatnot that's going to help you get to where you want to go, reach your goals.
Right.
And that's why I kind of say no days off is for anything, whether you're working, self-improvement, eating, whatever you want it to mean to you, mean it to you. But always be truthful with yourself and always be honest with yourself and look yourself in the mirror and be like, do I really want to change or am I just saying this because I know I need to change?
Right.
So there's two different things. If you know you need to change, because I knew I was addicted. But
I think we all know.
But did I want to change?
But sometimes you don't want
No.
to change. Like,
I didn't.
yeah.
I didn't want to change for a while. It's just like I
Like,
the
I
way-
like this shit.
I like the way it makes me feel. This
I
is
love
fucking
this shit.
amazing. It's always a great time. I'm like, woo.
Even when I was addicted, I was passionate to that. You know, I'm fucking no days off for that
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Same. So it just became something that you just really have to just throw yourself in there and just jump, just take the jump, leap of faith, and just trust the process. Some days are going to be harder than others, and some days you're going to feel like, damn, I can't keep doing this. But just know that's not you talking. That's someone that planted something in your head telling you that you can do anything you believe in, and it's all in the power of the mind.
Yeah.
And that's why you always have to watch out what you intake, not just food, but also like what you're feeding your brain as far as podcasts. Is it going to help you be more positive?
The people you
Yeah.
hang around with.
You know, if you're always around negative talk, you're going to keep getting planted self-doubt. Oh, well, so-and-so said that's going to be hard. nothing in life is easy. So
Right.
the only thing easy is not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only thing easy
And
in life.
that gets you in trouble.
And that
Too much idle time. You know, it gets you in trouble because you start thinking about just dumb shit to do. You know, so I think staying busy and working hard, 24/7 on something that you enjoy or you're passionate about, whether it's school, job, family, whatever it is,
Yep.
it's important because you keep your mind busy. You know, you keep it going. You there's something to wake up to and look forward to.
Yeah.
The day you stop that, you start decaying, you start dying. You know, that's why old people when they retire and they don't do shit, they just sit at home. Fucking couple years, they die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you got these people, they're like, the older people, they're like in the 80s, 90s, and they still get up and fucking water the plants and this and that. You have a routine. They're active and like, they fucking live forever. You know what I mean?
Live a lot longer than your average person.
Yeah.
So it's just making sure you're just feeding yourself what you need. And if you have self-doubt, that's normal. But kind of over time, just figuring out how do I get rid of this self-doubt.
Right.
Because everyone has it within them to become better and get rid of that self-doubt and confidence. And the gym is something that can give you confidence because you'll feel better. You'll start looking better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main thing, especially because if you're eating junk, you're going to feel like junk.
Yep.
And if you're not moving, you're going to feel like you're not moving and you're just going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel stiff. Probably can't even touch your toes. A lot of people can't touch their toes. So movement is healing. Food is healing. So it's just something to just stay consistent on. It's not easy if you fall off. There's one day you're like, dang, I don't know if I can do it. Just take the day off, see how you feel. And then next day, just jump back on the wagon.
Yep.
So
don't take 2 days, 3 days, because then that
Turns
you
into a
fall
week.
off. The next thing you know, you're out for a year. And like, oh, I'll try it again. And New Year's resolution, you know, here it comes. We're getting close to the end of the year, and then a lot of people that started the year this year, you know, they started, and then there's. I always say, if you start at the beginning of the year, you're already lost. You're already gonna lose it. You're not gonna do it because you got to start before, because you really gotta want it. Because everybody, you hear the same year resolution every year. Like, oh, I want to do this, and month later, 2 months later, hey, how's everything going? Like, how's this going? Oh man, come and take a little bit of time off, and like they're just trying to make an excuse, but they already fell off, and they're like, here comes the new year, and let's try again. You know what I mean? So I think you guys just gotta be real with yourself, like you said earlier, and really want it. Just go for it, and then fuck what everybody else says, because friends, family, significant other, anybody's close to you, they might try to talk you out of it. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck that. You know, do what you want to do what you enjoy doing, and do whatever the fuck you want to do. Exactly. And that's really how it should be. Always. Because you got to be careful who you tell your stuff to. Because those people will ruin your fucking life. I've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. It's happened to me, you know, when I was a lot younger. You know, hanging on the streets and this and that. But let's just go get it, you know?
Yeah, and that's how we made this. And we're just going to keep improving, keep talking to more people, kind of help others share their stories that have not had a ability to and should share their stories, because there's a lot of unique people out there, and you never know whose story can help who. Yeah.
I think anybody needs any CPA advice, hit on my boy Rudy. I told him, you got to do a CPA podcast. It's just on that. And they have people ask questions, whatever. Because, man, even like I've been in business, like I got questions, you know?
Yeah.
And there's people that have been in business for a long time too. And like, if they could get serious answers, because a lot of CPAs might fucking bullshit too. You know how it is, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of the same thing. Yeah, so like, I think you should definitely do that. Like I mentioned to you before.
Yeah,
now I'm putting you on the spot. Now you have to do it. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, eventually, once we'll do that, we'll take live questions and all.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
and I'll kind of
interact,
and I'll kind of put it at the point of like, what would I do if I was in that situation?
Right.
Essentially, that you have.
Because I would have never thought you were a CPA, man.
Yeah, most people don't until I tell them, or until they start asking business questions. So like my clients are like, oh, I get consulting advice, I get tax advice, I get psychiatry advice.
Yeah, everything.
Pretty much, I'm all in one, and then
There
they
you
get to
go.
work out at the same time.
Like, man, you got to charge more, man. Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's important, and we're just here to give back and help people, and that's what we want to build this this family,
Exactly.
this podcast that we're doing.
Build a family
Yeah.
community of just like-minded people,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Because once you find a good community, it's a lot easier to grow because you have something to look back on or have a community of people you can ask. So if you don't have a community right now, you can always join our community, or you can find a community around your neighborhood or your city on Facebook, or even online communities of whatever you like. If it's cars, if it's gym, if it's painting stuff, if it's drawing stuff, there's a community out there online. So you don't essentially have to be in person with them, but you can connect through online, and that's, I think, the cool part about the internet, and that's how we're able to
Right.
talk to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just creating a network where you can network with people, like-minded people. Like right now, I'm creating a group right now with a customer of mine. He's a manager at a big company, and he's like, because we talk kind of like how we do, how we used to after the gym. And every time he came and looked at his car, working on his car, we'll talk for hours, man. He's like, man, you got all this knowledge. Like we need to build like a something we can network. I was like, yeah, man. I was telling him we're gonna build this group where we're just gonna have people come and network, entrepreneurs, and if you have more than one mind in one place and we network, we could be a little bit, structure something a little bit better and network and put yourself out there and build,
Yeah, because you can't be good at everything, so you need a team to build
Yeah.
stuff.
So you have more than one person think about something. You can hear other people's perspective and
Exactly.
ideas and be like, oh man, I would have never thought about that shit.
Exactly.
Let's try that. It sounds like that would work better
Exactly.
than my way of thinking,
Yeah. Just being
And that's
open-minded.
the experience and the knowledge, and not just that, but the a different way to look at something, because sometimes we just so caught up, we only see it one way. But if I could hear your perspective, like, man, like I tell you all the time, like, man, I never thought about that.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm
let's
the
try
same
that.
way.
Yeah.
And that's where just keeping the mind open and
Yeah.
not just being stuck in your old ways or your own ways, because
Yeah.
there's multiple ways to make money. There's multiple ways to think.
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
different people are smart at different things, are able to look at things differently and make more sense sometimes when they look at it in their perspective than you look at your perspective.
Right.
Oh, heck
Sounds
yeah.
good.
Well, yeah, that's we're gonna go ahead and just wrap the episode up.
Sounds
and,
about right. Yeah.
Stay tuned for more episodes. We're going to be talking to a lot more entrepreneurs, and we'll also be talking to more gym people as well, and kind of talking to just your everyday person. And
Yeah, now we're gonna really start making a lot more and be a little bit more broad, because we just the podcast we've done in the past, it's just been gym, but the concept when we started was to get to where we at now. So it'd be more like a business and just everyday life, people, their story, and then start that community already. And now we're gonna be making a lot more podcasts and be a little bit more active on social media.
so stay tuned. Keep your notifications up.
Yep.
Subscribe and like if you haven't yet.
Yep.
And you guys take care. Have a blessed day.